now we are ready to go ahead and work on this nose some more. Now what I'm using here again is a number 7. This happens to be about 1/4 inch. Anything will work that close. Now what I'm going to do, I've got the piece turned upside down. I've got my chisel rolled upside down, and I'm going to lay it right here about 1/4 or just right on the end, and I'm going to come down and around. Sometimes you have to do it 3 or 4 times to get it right. This is kind of slick, it's not wanting to bite. And hang on. Now you want to make sure it's centered also on that center line. If you don't, your nose is not going to be centered. Alright, I'm going to have to work it a little bit. Now see, I'm kind of rotating that up. What I want to do is I want the end of that nose to be round. I'm going to look at it, need a little bit more. And I'm going to push it into the wood a little bit like that. I'm going to turn it around. Now you can kind of see right there, I hope, where it's kind of rounding that nose. I need a little bit more of it. Turn back where I can work on it. I'm going to come just a little bit more. Right there. And by the time you get it down here, you want it to be straight up and down or even leaning back a little bit. Then I'm going to come right back around on this side, and I'm just going to take a chip out of there for right now. Just to kind of start isolating the ball of that nose. Okay, I'm going to work on it just a little bit more here. You're not going to get this all in one fell swoop, so you have to kind of come back and work on it a little bit. And you can work on it a little bit more later. But I want to establish the ball of that nose, and once again it needs to be centered with that center line. Alright, now I'm going to take my tool, I'm going to turn it back over upside down again, and if you can see this, you got that little notch right there. I'm going to set the edge of that tool in that notch, and I'm going to put my line back here so I can see it again. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that tool and I'm going to rotate it out. Now at this point, if you come straight out, that'll make the wings of your nose straight. You can come back a little bit if you want to, and that'll make it slope back a little bit. Well, I'm going to come where this line is. I'm going to come up about 1/8 of an inch. I want that nose to slope back just a little bit. So I'm going to lay it in there like this, and I'm just going to start rotating it around. And come right through that mark, push it on in there deep. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to take that chip out. Got to go a little deeper right here. Alright, now one of the hard parts about carving this nose is getting the other side to be exactly the same. We're going to work on that here in just a minute. Let me get a little bit more. Alright, there we go. I'm just taking a little bit of that wood out of the way, and there's the one wing. Now then you have to turn the piece upside down, get in the same place. I'm going to go ahead and put me a mark so I can kind of get in the same place here. I'll lay that right in the corner of it, and I'm going to come out and rotate that around one more time. Push it in, come back, take a chip, take that chip out of there. And then at that point you need to stop, check, and make sure they're in the same place. Now this side I've got a little bit higher, so I'm going to come back over here and go just a little bit higher with this side. Right. That looks better. Alright, now I want to put that mark back in there again where I had that. Okay. Now then, I'm going to take this and lay it upside down. I'm going to put it right up here on this ball. And what I'm fixing to do is, now see, I start out with my hand kind of low, and I'm going to come straight. I'm going to come off here and go straight down to that mark. Now I'm going to be in behind this wood, and you don't want to round it at this time. You just want it to go straight down. And see, I want to hit right where my mark is there. Alright. Now then I'm going to turn this over and get this wood out of the way. Just a little bit. Alright. Straight down, like so. And when I get to where I think the edge of the nose is going to be, I'll go ahead and turn it up and put me a mark. And here again, this is the hard part. Now you got to do the same thing over here on this side. Come down, come straight down to where I hit that mark. Okay, go ahead and get a little, you can turn that over and just kind of take that chip out of there so you can see what you got. Now I want to turn it around, look at it from different angles, make sure it's about the same, that I'm in the same place. And then right there, I'll turn it up. That establishes the end of my nose, okay? Now very carefully I can come back here and start removing a little of this wood, because you've got to expose the end of that nose. Now see, at this time I can come here and I can take a little more of this wood out of here, like this. Excuse me, I gotta take a little bit more out of here. You can also turn it and come down along it just very carefully at this time. You'll clean all this up later. I want to see what I got here. Very carefully come right here, like so. So you can see how this is isolating that nose some more. Okay. Come back up in here and take a little bit more till I can get the end of that nose. Alright, now look at that. Now see, I might want to come back and round it, just come back up there just a touch. Put a little bit of roundness right there on the end of that nose. Come back up there like that. I like the way that one looks. Okay. Kind of do the same thing over here on this side. Come down through here and take a little more material out. And what I've done here is I've isolated this whole nose, and I like what I got so far. And you want to look at it from all different angles, all different sides. Make sure everything's stayed in proportion. Make sure all your angles are the same. And there you go. Pretty good looking nose. Got a nice profile to it. Nice roundness on the end. We'll have to do a little bit of work on it. Now you want to check and make sure you got the same depth here as you got there, and I'm pretty close. Now see, I kind of lost my holes a little bit, my nares. Just come back, cut that in like so. Alright, same thing here, lost a little bit of that. Just straighten it up, make it look the same on both sides. Now, one side's off a little bit, well, you're going to have to adjust it. And that, you just have to kind of take a look at it and do what you need to do to fix it. Alright, there we go, that's the nose. Now at this time I'm going to come up here and I'm going to kind of put that eye socket back in. I don't want it to be real deep necessarily, but I do want to kind of locate it. And that also, now you notice that how the nose is isolated off the side of the face. Looking good there. Come over here and do the same thing over here. And locate that eye socket like that. Take a look at that, make sure they're the same. Need to go a little more right here. You want those to be same shape, basically same deal. And there we go. That's the start of my face. I've located my nose. I've now I can lay out the rest of the face. Alright, now what I need to do is I'm going to make me a mark about where the side of that eye is. And the reason why is the human eye lines up, the inside corner of the eye will line up with the outside corner of the nose. And generally speaking, you can take your dividers and use that width of the nose, and that will be the width of the eye. Now for an Indian, I'm going to make that eye just a little bit smaller. So I'm going to cheat it in about like so. Now put me a mark right there. Now these marks are not that important right now. All this is right now is to locate the side of the face. A normal face is 4.5 to 5 eyes wide. Well, basically there, from here to there is one eye, and there's 2 eyes, and you come out here about 1/2 of an eye, and that's going to be the side of his face. Now see, that's 2.5, and 2.5 would be 5. So that would be how you can locate the face. You just line this up, get that line there, locate the eye, go about halfway. Now that is the widest part of the face. You can just make you a line right here for now. And actually the widest point on the face is going to be right below the eye. It's going to be about right here, something like that. Alright, once I do that, then I can take my dividers, get on my center line right here. Alright, get on the center line, come out here and get right on that line, swing it right around here, put me a point, make me a little mark, and I just cheat. I just take my pencil. Alright, and that sets up the side of my face. Okay, so there we go. Now then, we want to we've already established where the bottom of his chin is going to be right there, and I've lost my line for the top, so I can just go ahead and measure this back here and kind of go right there, and that's where his hair line is going to be. Put me a mark right here, like so. Okay, now what I'll do next is I'll probably go ahead and draw in the hairline, and I'll probably come from this point right here to that point right there. Now I think before I do that, I've got too much material right here, so I want to go ahead, I'm just going to go ahead and take this down. And also another reason why you want to do this is because actually this flat of the forehead should almost go from center eye to center eye. And like I said, I've got way too much up here. Excuse me just a minute. Oops, I forgot to put my glove back on, folks. Hang on just a second. I'm going to do that. Alright. I'm going to keep looking at this until I've got, oh, that's about 1/8 of an inch. I kind of like that. Just kind of take this little edge off right here. If you do this before you draw that line, it makes it draw that line for the hair, the top of the hair, or bottom of the hair. It makes it easier on you. I'm just kind of knocking that edge off right there. Okay, I'll go ahead and put my center line back in, like so. Alright, go ahead and put my hairline back in, right there. Put me a little line. And I've established this mark here. Now I can take my pencil, put it right there, back over here and get me a mark so that I can keep these the same. Now you could draw this line and use a piece of tracing paper if you wanted to get that right back where it goes. Now this just takes a little bit, and basically what I want is something like so. You can adjust this later if you need to or want to. Now you notice I came up a little bit higher. That's okay. Okay. And then I'll kind of, I'm not an artist. I wish I was, but I'm not. Okay, now you just look at it, get it upside down, make sure that looks the same. That's just kind of a little bow, and that's kind of where his hairline is going to be. Looks like I'm a little bit lower over something like that. All right. Okay, now then there I've established this. Now here's the bottom of his cheek down here. Now at this time you might want to turn it and see, we need to get rid of some of this. We've got to get a decent profile here. So basically I'm going to go ahead at this time and lower this some. Take a look at it. I need to be a little lower. And then see this will be where his lip will be, and it's going to round down into here. I'll go ahead and just kind of put this rounded up a little bit more right here. Of course you'll work all this in more later, but what I'm doing right here is I'm kind of establishing that mouth barrel. Mouth is not flat. If you look at a skull or look at your face from underneath, this is round, and that's kind of establishing that. I need to establish where, now from the mouth back to the nose, it drops in a little bit, and that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm just getting this ready because I know we're going to have to remove some more wood, so I'm just taking it off right now before I put my layout on here. Okay, I can live with that. Alright, so now here again I want to get this mark. Come down here. There's the bottom of his chin right there. Go ahead and put me a mark. Go ahead and put my center line back in. Like so. Now on the Indian, if you'll notice, actually I probably got him a little higher. This is the bottom of the chin, and then you're going to come up at an angle. And about 4 o'clock angle is what I've been told. So what I want to do, I think, is just kind of make that mark so I'll just have a basis to go by. Something like that. And also the mouth is basically centered on the chin. Now it's going to look a little higher, but that's okay. That's basically where we're going to put his mouth. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to bring his chin up a little lower than his mouth. So I'm going to just guess me a mark. I come right here and get that mark right here. You can do this with the dividers too. This just saves a little time. Put me a mark there. Now his chin is going to be coming around here, and let me see, I need to make that a little straighter. Okay. I need to decide where it's going to turn. So I'm going to come off here, oh, about the end of his nose right here, say. I can take my dividers once again and set it on that mark, whirl it around, set it there, just put me a little pin prick, put it there. Now then, see, he's going to come here and then he's going to turn, come back here, like so. Same thing over here, come and turn here. Okay. Alright, and then take a look at it. I think I need to go a little higher. That. Something like that right there. And I think I like that better. I'll just erase all this. Alright, now I've established, you'll notice, pretty much established where his face is going to be. Alright. Now keep in mind we'll end up coming here and coming out, but we'll do all this later. And there'll be a cut right here, and then it'll flatten out. That's give this Indian a good solid face. When I come back here next, we'll oops, would help if I had a nice straight line right there, wouldn't it? You want to always look and make sure you're not tilting something. I think that will do it.